So hi guys, welcome to live stream. If this is your first go on live stream, then the way you ask questions is through Skype, not through YouTube. And my Skype address is in the box below. It's Lisa Cairns 12. And just send me a request and I should answer it. I don't answer all the questions, so if your question doesn't get picked, it's nothing personal. Just remember that you are live on live stream. And that is going onto YouTube afterwards, so please make sure you censor yourself. You can also put a fake name in your Skype account as well. Which is really easy to do, but you can look that up on Google of how to do it. What else? The name of this talk today is The Same Old Games. The Same Old Games. If you want to come to any of my events, the next event I do is an 8-night retreat in the south of Spain. That's the 27th of October to the 4th of November. Then I do a 7-night retreat in Tiruvannamalai, the 13th to the 20th of January. And then I do open talks in India, the 6th to the 12th of January, the 24th to the 30th of January, the 2nd to the 8th of February. And that's in Tiruvannamalai, Goa and Rishikesh. You can find that on my website. I always like to sit in silence at the beginning of the talk, so I shall do so. Just have to fix my hair. I can see it's all sticking up. One of my pins. Oh, I'm fixing the wrong side. That's always the way. Wait. So back to front in the camera. Hello. So what was the title today? Let's take a look. The same old games. It doesn't really matter what games you play or don't play. It's all part of this body. Whether you act out one thing again and again and again, it doesn't really matter. That's not freedom. Even though it always feels nice to do something, so the idea that working on your dynamics or working on your games is going to lead you to freedom doesn't really matter. Freedom's what's here. Freedom's what's looking out. Freedom is this room. Freedom is I am. Everything else doesn't matter. The thoughts, the feelings, your situation, whether it's good or bad or right or wrong. The freedom is always here. It's remembering what's happening right now. That doesn't mean, though, on the personal level, on the human level, that you can't strive to improve your personal situations and improve your relationships. So if you're homeless and living in the rain, then there could be an improvement of that situation, so you're in less pain. But that's not going to lead you to freedom. That's more stuff in the dream. That's the movement in the dream. The true freedom is. It's right here, right now. This is it. But you can always work on your dynamics. Most people are lost in their dynamics and they keep trying to fix their dynamics. But normally you try and fix your dynamics by not actually trying to fix the dynamic. It's normally trying to act out that dynamic again and again. So say if you believe it's in a particular relationship, then you keep looking for that particular relationship and not actually look at that dynamic and realize that there is a belief system that believes that you're going to find freedom in a relationship. Or you keep overeating and rather than fixing that because it's causing you health problems, by looking at the dynamic, you keep repetitively doing the same thing, say trying to diet and then failing and then binging and then trying to diet again and then failing and then binging, and then you think it's really in me losing weight if I get slimmer, rather than just trying to eat healthier from what you are now or something like that. But life goes round and up and down, and this happens and that happens, and you're going to have your particular pattern. And there is freedom here, in this, right here, in the stillness of what is. There is nothing experiencing life now. There is nothing happening. This is the freedom. Who is it looking out of your eyes? Who is it feeling the air or the coldness or the warmth? Who is it smelling and hearing? And who and what are you hearing? little bit cold. I had a nice hot bath. Now, it was all hot when I started, and now you know when your body temperature cools down. Okay, let's take some questions. Hi Lisa, Catherine here. May I ask, if one of the main laws of the manifestation is the law of opposites, does that mean that the world can never ever change and will all and be all good as we have defined good, because there has to be good and bad? Good and bad doesn't actually exist. I don't actually mean like night and day. There seems to be a time when the sky is light and then a time when the sky is not dark. I don't mean it like that. I mean good and bad is a human interpretation of a situation, of what is good and what is bad. It's not actually, they don't actually independently exist. So if we say, looked at like a wolf killing a piggy, we would say that's bad, say, but who's it bad for? It's bad for the piggy, but it's good for the wolf because the wolf has to eat. You can, like, we've made it up, we've defined what's good and bad. We've decided how a human should and shouldn't be, that it's good to have supermarkets, that it's good to have streets, that it's good to have cars, but from another perspective, maybe some people would say that's bad. This is a good behavior, this is a bad one. But in the relative world, you can say what's good, like it's good to share, it's bad to hit people. So in the relative world, but on the absolute level, you can't say what's good or bad. So good and bad don't absolutely exist. They're just interpretations that we as humans have. And then you have an interpretation, I presume, of wanting to live in a world where there is no bad. But what would that look like? That would mean no more eating, because as soon as you eat, you take another form and turn it into your form. Would that mean that everybody gets on? But then that means that nobody has opinions, or nobody has their own independent thoughts about something. Who would be the ruler? Who would be the dictator and telling you which way we live or how we live as a group? What happens if some people are born differently? Like, what would this good society look like? We often have this notion of goodness, and it's a very dangerous idea, goodness. What's the saying? Hell is paved by good intentions. I mean, look at the story of Hitler. His story was of trying to do good. And actually, if you actually look at what he was doing, it's really, if we take away the Jewish part, I just take away the Jewish part. But if you look at what he was doing, he was trying to kill anything in the society that didn't make the society productive. So he was trying to stop that happening. So we say that's bad. We all look at that and we say that's bad. No, everybody has a right to life, and everybody has a right to be here, and everyone has a right to be part of this society. But what happens if this society can't produce enough food? I'm not saying I agree with Hitler at all. I'm just trying to bring up the questioning around what is good and what is bad, because often we're so mentally attached to this. And your freedom doesn't come in goodness. Your freedom comes in being here in this, in the empty looking, that's looking at the good and the bad. But the mind says, the person says, it's in goodness, and I must produce goodness at all cost. And it's never gonna work, just like everything else. It's never gonna work. It's never gonna work. Nothing in this life is ever gonna work. You're gonna try so freaking hard that you work yourself to death. And then in your deathbed, you're like, nothing actually really worked. There were high moments, there were good moments, and there were bad moments. I liked it, and then I didn't like it. And that's the point. It's never meant to work. It's constantly expanding and growing. That's not meant to be a negative thing. It's like letting go of everything and seeing that everything is gonna happen the way it's gonna happen. And your job is to enjoy the ride. And it's not even your job, actually, but it's just experiencing this life as it is, the craziness of this life. Hi, Vatios. Hi, Fatima. Hi, Hurley Grant. Oh, Holly, sorry. Not Holy. Hello, Lisa. I'm Holly from Maine, a friend of Laurie. Oh, nice. Hi, Holly. Very welcome. Hi, Alex. Hi, Lisa. Is it a fact that more quiet my mind gets, the deeper the boundlessness of everything becomes? Lately, the identification with the body is becoming so absent that I don't feel like there is boundary between my body and everything else anymore. It's not exactly that the mind gets quiet, like thinking happens. It's this energy that's identified with the mind. So the thinking mind stops being so important. So your thoughts about, how good tomorrow is going to be when I see this person and that person becomes more distant, or there's less attachment to that. So it comes up, the thoughts, but you're not sucked into it. And then there is this other world remembered, that who you are is this boundless presence that doesn't end at your body, that is everything and nothing. Hey, Marcus, dear Lisa. All my life I had a strong tendency to isolate myself. Could you say something about connection? Man, that's so hard, Marcus. You know, you're presenting to me your particular story of what you think went on, and that's just the presentation of the story that you want me to know. It's not the actual truth of the situation, it's something you want me to know about you and then me to comment on it. I don't know why you isolated yourself, or if you did isolate yourself. I don't know about that. I can talk about connection, but I don't know about your life. It's like what we present to the other is what we want the other to see of ourselves. It's not actually what's happening. It's what we want to negotiate with the other. So at the moment, you have this sense that you've isolated yourself. Could be lots of reasons that you isolate yourself. So let's talk about connection. Connection and love isn't a personal thing. You never connect with a person. Love is despite the person, despite the thing. That's true love, despite what's happening. And that's when you really connect with someone. Despite everything. I like that. Someone said that to me the other day. Despite my partner, I loved him. She said, despite their personality. I have to go and get a jumper on in a minute. I'm so egocentric. Aren't we all, my love? Aren't we all? Hey, Thomas. Hi, Astush. Hi, this is Astush from India. Hello, Astush from India. Thanks for the firm line you took answering me earlier. I was a teacher all my life and have developed this habit of revising and brushing my subject, constantly keeping mental clarity in a habit. I am indeed stuck in my mind. I was never into any spirituality or religious practice. I took to reading and studying to look for my answers. Who I am, what I'm doing here, and why there is a world were my questions. I found solutions for them in your teaching. There is no I to be am. There is no free will because there is no one to will. There is no real separate world because there is no real separate one to observe it. My question was improper in their origin? The ground of my feet got pulled. There is no objectivity inside or outside is quite a revelation. To hear you every week is a priceless blessing. Well, thanks, Astush. Yes. I can't remember the hard line I held with you, but that's the way, it is. I have to get a jumper. And I have to get my slippers on. Excuse me. Hey Isabel. Hey Catherine C. Hi Isabel again, in a different account. Hi Prem. Is there any natural end for the same old game story? They can improve. Certainly if they're like debilitating, like they improve and they get better. But you're going to have your particular tendencies which will have been passed on to you from your parents. And it's like when you're waking up, it's a gentle dance of like relaxing them so you can have a more balanced, easy life. And then seeing that nothing is true, like no game that you play out, no feeling, no thought you have is true. What is true is presence. What's true is right here. And then instead of you speaking just happens and the games get played out, but they're no longer yours anymore. But they're most probably refined and improved. But no, of course not. You can never, like, I think it's dangerous when a teacher begins to think that they are free of games or free of being human. Yeah, this would be absolute. I would just find it terrible to be a guru, but some people love it. I remember a friend of mine, we were at a talk and somebody told me that at the talk 100 people were coming to see me, and my response instantly was like, oh dear God. Like I love doing it through the internet. Like I don't mind that there's 100 people there, but in a room I was like, oh dear God. And it was quite a small room. And my friend was rolling around laughing because he was like, oh my God, if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, let me at it. 100 people looking at me, woo-hoo. And it was really funny. Like we were rolling around laughing, and that's different personalities. That's got nothing to do with enlightenment. It's just that my personality isn't like that. Like I love speaking about this subject, but if it wasn't for YouTube and the internet and the way that I've got it set up, I don't think I would have ever done this. Like, I think it can be fun giving a talk to 100 people, but it's also a lot energetically to do. Can be really fun though, especially because I like the interaction. So when there's like 100 people and you're doing a talk, there's a lot of interaction that happens and a lot of energy. Whereas when it's 20, it's a lot more like intimate and smaller and a lot not so much like energy dance happening. But it's all different. So my friend that was like, yeah, I would love that. He does have that personality. That's the way it goes. And then, but you see, when you're seeking, you look to the teacher and you think you want them to be all the things you lack and all the things that you haven't had. And you want them to be that and to be this unconditioned love that never does anything wrong and that is only your definition of good, even though there's like 2,000 students that have each their own individual idea of what is good. So therefore it'd be impossible for the teacher to live up to it. Hello, John. Is this where you take questions? Yes, this is where I take questions, John. Hello, Carmela. Hello, Helen. Hi, Lisa. Would you think that becoming awake is a natural development and at some point in everybody's life because it's our natural state? I don't think it does happen to everybody. I think it happens in death, but then I think more than likely the energy of that person gets born again. Like I don't believe somebody gets reborn, but the energy, the karma of that person gets reborn. Some people are so completely uninterested in this subject and there's no resonance with it. But I do wonder how people make it through a life without being open to questioning that they're not that person. Lisa, I recently read that we are naturally in a state of presence and that the presence can actually believe it's the person. Can you say something about this? Thank you so much. The presence can't actually believe it's a person because presence doesn't believe, presence doesn't think, presence doesn't have any form, so that form cannot be captured inside the person. What can happen is the person is so strong and there's an identification that appears with the person, so it seems like presence is identified with the person, but presence never actually is, because there is presence, and that presence is actually everywhere. It's just the focus is on the person that's limited. It's focused on this limitation, but actually your presence is everywhere. Oh, I've gone very dark. I don't know what I can do about that. I'm a little bit tanned today. I was laying in the sun a little. It's a little bit cold. There is no more questions. Hey, beloved Lisa, what's the difference between personal love and unconditional love, and how do these two loves relate to each other? Well, actually, you can never really love a person, because a person and you are always changing. They're like a kaleidoscope, so there's no solid person in them or you. It seems on the personal level you can have relationships with people, like you can have a partner that your body mind gets on with, and you stay together just like two swans do. But actually you can't love that person, they can't love you, because who would they love? There is actually never personal love. You can only love the person despite them. That's true love, is loving them despite them, despite yourself. Could you speak about the paradox of yoga, where at one point it seems we have to totally involved with and caring in our actions, yet at the same time, absolutely non-attachment to the outcome. It's not really a question, but I would like to hear you speak in your own words about this. Well, you see, the person is always doing something for the future. So you get taught at a very young age that everything is about future. Everything is about obtaining something in the future, and you get used to that. So when you get into the subject of waking up and enlightenment, you then think you have to obtain something in your actions to get enlightened. It does seem that with waking up, there is a relaxation of your crap. And that relaxation might be through therapy, through yoga, through non-dual practices, through meditation, but there's a relaxation of you. Like your ideas get delodged, your belief that any of your ideas are true, the belief in you becomes undone. But that still doesn't create a freedom. The freedom is when this energy shifts from being that person to this empty looking, and it's seen that whatever that person does or tries to get or tries to obtain to obtain will never lead that person to anything, because that person never actually existed. That person was never going to get free. The freedom was always right here. But it seems like that person has to have a relaxation of itself. Yoga, however, though, can be, for some people, really healthy to do. It's really good practice of physical exercise, and it can be very balancing. But you aren't going to get enlightened because you don't exist. Who gets enlightened? That's the question. Who? Who let the dogs out? Who? Hi, Kajaran. Sorry. Hi, Kirchan. Hi. Where can I ask questions for the live chat? Right here. Right here. Why call awakening for the big shift? Why call awakening the big shift? Why not gradual shift? It can appear to be a gradual shift, but it can only ever be an instantaneous shift. Because who is the one that's gradually waking up? Who is this one that's gradually letting go? Although it can seem that way, so we can say relatively it seems like the person is relaxing, but who is the one that actually wakes up? Actually, really can't say it's a gradual thing. It really is only an instant thing. It's only here, but it seems that way. I want to say it seems that way because I don't want to totally... Well, the problem is that people take this the wrong way, and then they think I don't have to do anything. I don't have to prove my personality. I'm just going to sit at home and rot and not earn any money, not do anything, and be very negative and hateful, and that will work out. Thank you. I have been thinking about going to your retreat in the south of Spain, and I wanted to ask if you would like to have someone teach some yoga classes during the retreat. You don't have to answer this in the stream, by the way. Oh, thanks, Yon. Yeah, that's really lovely. I think I've got someone this time teaching Tai Chi, so there might not actually be time for yoga. But it is something that I always love to have on retreat. Is your yoga or Tai Chi or some physical exercise. Can non-duality help me to overcome my overeating problem? No. Realizing who you are could shift it and change that, this waking up, this energetic shift. But no, you on the personal level have to recondition the eating problem. You've got to solve that on the human level. Ultimately, freedom doesn't come in food, so waking up and realizing freedom is who you are. But if you've got an addiction there, then you have to deal with the addiction. Thanks for asking, though. Thanks for asking, Sebastian. Okay, my loves, I'm leaving because firstly, I need to go for a pee-pee, and secondly, I'm going out for dinner tonight, so I could If you go for a pee-pee and then come back and carry on the talk, then, you know, and then leave the talk early because I'm going out for dinner, forget it. I might as well just go for pee-pee and then go and walk for my dinner. That was a bit of information you really didn't need to know, but sometimes the mouth just opens and everything comes out. What is it? Less is more. Less is more, Lisa. You don't learn that as a triple Gemini. It just all comes out like tumbling, like... Okay, I love you. Thank you very much. I shall see you Sunday at 6 p.m. French time. That is correct. Bye, guys. I can't find out how you stop this. Here we go.